Thinking about saving a few bucks by booking the cheapest inside cabin? Hold up, that bargain might come with more regret than a C6 selfie. Let's talk about it and why you shouldn't downgrade your cabin until you watch this video. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RealCaribbeanBlog.com. Let's face it, cruises can be expensive, and it can be tempting after you book your cruise to think, you know what, maybe I'll save a few extra dollars by downgrading my cabin from a balcony to an inside, or a suite to a balcony, or a balcony to an ocean view. But sometimes, winning the price war means losing comfort games. So today, I'm giving you 7 rock-solid reasons why I would think twice before downsizing your cruise cabin. You might save money, yeah, but you'll pay in space, light, privacy, and maybe even your sanity. The first reason you should really rethink downsizing your cabin is you're going to give up windows. No balcony, no porthole, no natural light. That's why some cruisers call them shoe boxes or even tombs. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but you know what I'm going with on this one. Without a window or a balcony, you won't be able to catch the sunrise, smell the ocean air, or even check what the weather's up to. Sure, there's usually a TV that you can watch the bow cam feed, but unless you enjoy watching water flow by like it's a screensaver, it's really not a substitute for the real thing. Honestly, this is the biggest downside to an inside cabin is that lack of natural light and being able to see what it's like. I mean, not only is it impossible to know if it's 3 o'clock a.m. or 3 o'clock p.m., but without that access to either natural light or the outdoors, it definitely feels completely different. If you're only used to balcony cabins, that could be kind of a big factor. Reason number 2, our inside cabins are often the smallest, and storage gets even smaller. Closets, drawers, and shelves are minimal. On a short 3 or 4 night cruise, it might not really be a big deal, but if you're on a longer sailing, like even a 7-night cruise, or even a way longer sailing, like Panama Canal, repositioning, or doing many cruises in a row, you'll certainly notice it. Clothes, souvenirs, toiletries, good luck finding a place for them all in a smaller cabin. To be fair, some of this has to do with the ship design in of itself. Some ships just have more storage space in their cabins than others. But if you're sharing a cabin, well, being in an inside room can feel like a game of Tetris, but with your vacation clothes and zero margin for error. When you pay for a larger room, then you're going to get not only more living space, but more storage space as well. And this is more true of suites than like saying moving from an inside to a balcony cabin, but without a shadow of a doubt, more living space, more square footage is going to give you more space for your things. Reason number 3, our inside cabins are, well, really small, and living space is cramped, seating is minimal, and on some ships, you get barely enough room to stretch out. For example, some interior cabins, depending on the ship, of course, are as small as 136 square feet. Others might be a bit better, like on newer ships, they're closer to like 150 to 170 square feet, but compared to a balcony or suite cabin with extra seating, a sofa, and maybe even a second bathroom, the difference is very noticeable. Whenever I've stayed in an inside room, I feel like I generally just live out of my bed. Basically, not only am I sleeping there, but when I have like downtime, I just end up in the bed. I mean, yeah, there's a little vanity sitting area, and there might be like a couch or a large chair to sit on, but the couch and large chair ends up being like my storage area for a lot of my junk because, as I just talked about, there's not a lot of storage space, and the vanity chair is fine, but it's not very comfortable. The bed just ends up being where I'm at. But when I have a larger room, certainly a balcony or a suite, well, not only do you have more space, but also more places to sit. First and foremost, if you have a balcony, well, you can go out to your balcony and sit there. And if you're in a suite, you may have even a living room or a larger couch seating area. Regardless of that, a bigger room is certainly going to feel, well, more open. What I'm trying to convey is not to scare you into not booking an inside cabin, but to be realistic about the living conditions there and how tight it can feel. Because at the end of the day, you're going on your cruise to relax. You don't want to play, don't bump your elbow on the wall in a shoebox. Just saying. Reason number 4, and this is a biggie for a lot of people that really do enjoy balcony cabins, because without a veranda, you lose privacy and the ability to enjoy the sea quietly by yourself. There's no stepping out for a breath of fresh air, no watching sail away from your own deck chair, and this can really be important for a lot of people, especially if you're on a scenic itinerary, like maybe Alaska fjords, or the Norwegian coast, or any sailing where you want really a front row seat to the scenery around you. When the top deck is jam-packed on sea days, that balcony becomes your own VIP spot. There are lots of cruisers who absolutely swear by a balcony cabin for exactly that reason, a balcony. They want to have that space for sail away, for enjoying time in the morning, having maybe food delivered via room service out there, or simply to take in the views. When I've sailed in both Alaska and Norway, having a balcony cabin has really been a very nice amenity to have. I'm sure I would have had a great time on both those types of cruises without a balcony cabin, but having one was so much better, especially in Alaska when we sailed to Dawes Glacier and our ship spun around in 360 degrees. When I was in Norway and we were sailing through the fjords, being able to simply step out on my balcony and enjoy the view as we passed by very slowly was very serene. Certainly being up on the pool deck offers even a greater view there, but for a lot of folks, they like that convenience. Maybe sitting in your bathrobe and being able to take in the view, or simply from your bed with the window blinds open, enjoying the view and scenery passing by. It's really compelling. For number 5, what I'm really talking about is if you're going from a suite down to a standard cabin, because the cheapest cabins tend to come with really, of course, the bare minimum. You'll get a bed, small bathroom, basic conveniences. Now that's fine until you wish for more comfort. In contrast, if you're going to be in that suite that maybe you're paying for or you're thinking about buying, those higher end cabins have a lot of perks that come with upgraded toiletries, better bedding, priority boarding, extra loyalty points, and sometimes even access to exclusive lounges or especially dining like Coastal Kitchen. Now, if you're used to those types of perks and you kind of expect to go and have those higher amenity VIP treatment that a suite gets you, well, trying to save money and going down to a lower class cabin might be a problem for you. Other people might be scoffing at this and say, well, I don't really care about those things. It's never been an issue for me. But certainly, when you downgrade your cabin and go from a suite to a lower room, there is also a change not only in the cabin itself, but also what's included. For number 6, maybe you'll figure, okay, I'll just book a cheap cabin for now, and then hope for a last-minute upgrade. That's a gamble. Rail Up, which is the option to bid for a stateroom upgrade, lets you, of course, try your luck at bidding for a better stateroom before you're selling, but there's really no guarantee. It can be very tempting to rely on a last-minute upgrade to score a balcony or a suite at a lower cost, but availability truly varies, and there's no promise that your bid will be accepted, or there's even an opportunity to book for it. Remember, Royal Caribbean cruise ships sell out well in advance, and this is really common during peak travel times. As such, you should really secure the preferred stateroom you want when you book your cruise, rather than try to roll the dice with a stateroom upgrade through the Royal Up program. Royal Caribbean advertises Royal Up as like, hey, look, there's this opportunity to bid. But in reality, just because you can place a bid doesn't mean there's actually a cabin open to bid and move up to. And finally, the cheapest cruise cabins are going to be probably guaranteed inside staterooms. Now, rather than selecting your specific cabin at the time of booking, Royal Caribbean will randomly assign a stateroom before sailing based on the remaining inventory. Although they're a good option for cruisers who want to save money on their fare, you risk being assigned a cabin in an undesirable location, like maybe near a noisy elevator bank or at the very front of the vessel, or even worse, underneath a public venue. Once your cabin has been assigned, it can't be changed. This can be very frustrating if you're given, for example, a connecting cabin and don't know the party in the adjoining stateroom. The last thing you want is to say, congratulations, you just won the unwanted cruise cabin lottery. Your prize? Noisy stairs, zero privacy, and maybe someone's pet alligator. So there you have it. 7 reasons why that save a few dollars inside cabin sometimes ends up costing you comfort, space, or even peace of mind. If you can swing a balcony or a suite, or even a roomy ocean view, I promise your future self will thank you for it. It's your vacation. Don't spend it certainly compromising if this can be too much for you, especially if you're opting instead for a cramped, dark room listening to strangers snoring through the wall. You certainly don't have to spend money in order to have a good time on a cruise ship, but it doesn't hurt either. Now, if you like this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and drop a comment below. I want to know, what's the worst cabin downgrade horror story you've heard or even lived through yourself? Thanks for watching. This has been Matt from RealCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.